and welcome to Fireside Chat number 3.
Number 3.
Now, I'm actually going to start with a rant. I recently sent off for some samples, and one of the things I sent off for was What's Next, or Dots Next as it's called. It's the magnetic board where the little discs move around.
Like, yeah.
And this was $1.50, and I thought, oh, that'll be interesting. Well, it arrived. The size surprised me somewhat. It was a little smaller than I was anticipating. What shocked me far more than that, though, was the quality of this. Because I think, without a doubt, this is truly the most wretched magic prop I have ever seen. I'm just going to come close to the camera so you can actually see the way that these...
shoddiness.
The cheap shoddiness, that's very good. Look how these have been cut so poorly that they're not even complete circles. They are piled on top of one another. This is not going to fool a blind man, and I'm not saying anything against blind people. I'm just saying that this is dreadful. That's
the next Fireside Chat, the rant against blind people.
Now, unfortunately, I threw away who actually manufactured this, because if I had the name, I would name and shame. Because this is pitiful, utterly pitiful. I threw it in the bin in a not exactly a fit of pique, but because I was just so appalled by it. And then I suddenly thought, well, actually, this is a good opportunity to talk about terrible magic.
Hanging off that one.
So I got Cheryl to go through the bin and find it again.
To all the old potato peelings and
I do want to make a serious point about this, because people say that magic is expensive, and by and large it is. You might buy a prop that is £30 or £50, doesn't matter what it is. If you use that in every show, then that pays for itself very, very quickly. If you buy something like this, it might be £5 or £3, doesn't matter. And it works out extremely expensive, because what are you going to do? You're going to have to end up chucking that in the bin, because it is utterly unusable.
Yeah, well, it's...
So I just see no reason why there should be so much shoddy magic about, and there is.
Like you said, shoddy magic.
I was choosing my words with care.
Yeah.
Anyway, from that, and this is a sort of, I should have said at the beginning that this is a rather inconsequential Fireside Chat. It's about this and that, a potpourri of different things.
Can I have this? I'm going to put this in the show.
Yes, you have it, John.
Yes.
It's all yours. You're obviously very, very proud of it.
Yes, it's great.
Now, from a dismal product to something quite different, I also received this as a sample, and I don't know whether the light's reflecting on it, but if you can't read that, it says Master Routine, Carol Baker's Kid Show Basics. And
so what we got on here then?
Well, he says that there are a lot of basics on there, and he's quite right. It is fairly standard stuff. And if you've been a children's entertainer for a long, long time, you might think, well, you won't actually find an awful lot. So what I'm going to show, just briefly, without actually explaining it completely, at least I don't think I will unless I'm forced to, is one of the routines that he does, and it uses our old friend, a magic colouring book. And you'd think, well, surely there is nothing new that can be done on this. But what Carol Baker does, and I don't know if this is his routine...
Well, I've not seen this, so I'm going to act as the audience. Because
right, you act as the audience.
That's why I'm sitting very quietly. I've not seen this or what's going to happen next.
Okay, well,
so
he shows, first of all, the colouring book and says, look at this, all the different colours, and then says to the children, to get them involved, okay, I want you to rub like this. Just imagine that you're rubbing away all the colours, and of course, when he flicks it through again, all the colours have gone, and we're left with black and white. And he does this several times so the children know exactly what's going on. He says, but this time don't rub them white. No, don't rub them. And of course the children immediately do. And so far there's nothing that could be said to be any different to any other routine. But then it gets more interesting, because he says, I tell you what would be more interesting? Why don't we actually try and pull out all the black lines that are in the book? So he says, look, I'm going to actually pull the black lines out of the book. Look at this. And then we're going to do something else. Look, all the black lines have now been pulled out. But he said, if I turn it into a little tube, we're now going to actually pull out all the colours. And he reaches in, and the child then starts walking across the stage, and you've got all the colours coming out of the book, yards and yards and yards. So this makes a really nice visual display. And then, right at the end, he flicks through and says, look at that, you've actually removed all the black lines and all the colour.
So a lot of people don't like to actually pull things from the mouth during a kid's show.
Well, that's right.
You need to find another use. And that's a very nice way of using that.
So I'm not actually going to bother explaining that. I'm sure that anybody watching, or most people who are watching this, will understand exactly how that works. But you've simply got a little bit of black bootlace or something, and a mouth coil, and you've got something really different. So that is one of the effects that appeared on this, which we will be carrying fairly soon. Carol Baker's Kid Show Basics. There is also one of the best openings for a kid show that I've ever seen, which is a torn and restored paper napkin. All of these are explained on here, but it's a really good way of showing yourself to be a real magician right at the start, and you pretend that you're going to show the children how it's done, and you end up by actually not doing so at all.
I'll just put those, I'll get Cheryl to refold those.
Yes, we don't want to waste them, do we?
For sale.
So there we are, Carol Baker's Kid Show Basics. The third item that I've got here, and this is someone that you know very well, John.
Oh yes.
This is Terrific Tricks by Ian Adair. This is for kid show performers, and well, you know, you can tell them a little bit about Ian and your association with the Supreme Magic Company.
I worked for Supreme, is it 20 years ago now? Must be 20 years since I used to work for Supreme, and Ian was the general manager at Supreme when I was working there, and wrote all the advertising copy and came up with most of the effects that came out, the children's effects.
Well, he's still creating.
An awful lot. There's been a huge amount of books he's published over the years and written over the years.
Well, this is a book purely of tricks, nothing else. There are, I think, 60 tricks in here for children's entertainers, and Ian has given us this book to put out exclusively. It's £15, which I think is exceptional. One of the nice things about it, he's got Alexander Allen, who many of you will know is a very fine illustrator, to do all the illustrations in the book, and they really are excellent. And there's a huge range of stuff in here. There are flat pack card tricks, there are change bag tricks, there's another change bag. A very good trick involving a tray and a magical appearance on the tray. Some of these
things. Ian stuff as well. He does actually work this stuff. I mean, I've been to see his show a couple of times, and I was amazed that whereas a lot of people will write things up just for books, he does actually use all this.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because he does say that these are tried and tested in his own show.
Yeah.
And then he's got a bonus, which is his guaranteed money-making feature, which has earned him thousands of pounds as an additional service.
And what's that, Jeremy? Are you going to tell us?
No.
No,
I'm not. So here we've got a book which is just over 200 pages long, A5 size, illustrated throughout, 60 odd tricks. That works out about 25p a trick.
That's very good value.
Which I think is exceptionally good. And we've only had these for the last 2 or 3 days. Now, before our time runs out, I have here, last time we did, the first of the Fireside Chats we did was
wands. We missed one out.
And well, this one has come in since, and this is called a Pardon Me wand.
I've never seen one that looked like that before.
Well, basically what it does is that, if I show you
like
from the side.
A wilting flower.
But the idea is that you're holding the wand and you have an assistant, in this case John, or a helper, and as you're talking, the wand actually, I think I should be holding it with this hand, well rehearsed, you see.
There you want it. Oh. Well,
John's never seen this before.
I've never picked one up before, so I'm really qualified to do it.
He's going to
is it that?
Well, sort of, yes. It's roughly like that. And there's our lady on the harpist telling us to speed up.
Nearly time to finish.
It's like Andy Pandy all over again.
It's all right, love. You can stop playing that now. Oh yeah.
So this taps you on the shoulder, and you turn to the child and say, "What is it?"
What? And there you are. Hours of fun and enjoyment.
So this is the new Pardon Me wand.
What?
That's the way to deal with them. That's the Derek Lever School of dealing with small children.
What?
So there we are, and that is the end of Fireside Chat number 3.